What's up, guys? Happy to have you here in Las Vegas. We are at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, where we've seen a few good fights over the years. Not recently, but a special place in the history of mixed martial arts, and it was again today at UFC 269 press conference. I'm Brett Okamoto. He is Marc Raimondi, and I got to admit, Marc, coming into this press conference, some great fighters on the stage. Not always some great talkers on the stage,
yes.
but I feel like we got a lot of good content to talk about today.
I really enjoyed this one a lot, and you mentioned MGM Grand Garden Arena. Place for great fights, and it felt like a throwback press conference a little bit to a time where, there was no one talking about someone's wife being in someone's DMs, and no one was throwing any, objects into the crowd and so forth. It was a good, clean, fun press conference. I really enjoyed it, actually.
It was good, clean, fun, and of course, we had the main event, co-main event to talk about, a lot of different things to talk about, but I'll, ask you a general question first. Who do you think won the press conference?
I don't know if she won the press conference, but I want to shout out Amanda Nunes because we have so rarely seen, if we've ever seen her get into a trash talk battle with an opponent. I mean, can you remember the last time Nunes went back and forth with an opponent on stage during a press conference? I can't remember it, but Julianna Pena has been, to me, the perfect foil for Amanda Nunes when it comes to promotion and maybe even when it comes to the fight itself. I mean, Nunes looks she's like in incredible shape, and she seems really motivated for this fight against Pena. And Pena, was firing right back at her. It was enjoyable. I liked it.
Yeah, well, we'll find out what kind of dance partner she is in the fight. Of course,
yes.
Obviously big underdog as they always are against Amanda Nunes. But I believe you're completely right. I mean, there's only so many times we can stand up here and talk about how good Amanda Nunes is. Sometimes you want something else to talk about.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that it's like that way. But she deserves so much attention. She deserves so much respect. But dominance can be boring sometimes. And I hate to almost use that word, but Julianna Pena has really injected some life and injected some fire into this matchup. And I got to say, for Pena, it's sometimes definitely easy to talk about somebody in this light, when they're not there. And then you've got to go right there in front of you. And she continued to do it, man. I mean, I thought that she represented herself very well. And I thought when she was talking trash to Amanda, she was very, very authentic about it.
Absolutely. I mean, she may have forgotten a few, losses and fights here and there, but that's okay. I think a little bit of, selective memory for fight promotion is perfect. And look, someone like an Anderson Silva was so dominant for a long time, but almost did so anonymously in some ways. He was not a very popular champion until Chael Sonnen came in, and he became the foil. I'm not quite comparing Julianna Pena and Chael Sonnen or Nunes and Anderson Silva, but I do think that once in a while a dominant champion could use someone to kind of shake things up, and that's what Pena is doing, and I give her credit for it.
Absolutely. So I think that there is more attention on this co-main event than there have been in some Amanda Nunes title fights in the past. So that's the co-main event. Of course, the main event, it's one for the hardcores, as we've been saying throughout the week. It's one that how can you not be a fan of Charles Oliveira? How can you not be a fan of Dustin Poirier? And I'll get your opinion on this, but my biggest takeaway is just that these two guys, and why wouldn't they be, just so experienced and just know exactly who they are, and I think we're going to get good performances from both of them.
Yeah, I love this fight. It is the fight for the hardcore fan, and it, to me, is a fight that rewards a long-term viewer of the UFC, and I feel like there are a lot of new viewers of the UFC. The sport and the promotion itself grows all the time. They're doing, record numbers, but if you've been following the UFC for a decade, you've been watching Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira for a decade. Charles Oliveira won the title in May against Michael Chandler. It was his 28th UFC fight. That's the longest road anyone has had in UFC history to get that title. And if Poirier finds a way to win on Saturday, he'll have won the title in his 27th UFC fight. So these guys have been around. They've been through the journey. They've had similar paths, and now they all meet for, the big belt at the end. It's an awesome story.
I feel like it's going to be an emotional night either way, man. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this. I don't know if it's PC to say this, but I think we're all thinking it, so I might as well throw it out there. If Dustin Poirier comes up short, that's going to be heartbreaking, man. We all love Charles Oliveira, but Dustin Poirier, man, he's been chasing this for so long, and he's saying all the right things, paid in full, paid in blood. Yeah. I mean, he just like this guy, 25 minutes for the rest of my life, eternity, something they can't take away from me. Man, I'm rooting for both guys, but if Dustin Poirier comes up short, sport of mixed martial arts is gonna be a little sad on Saturday. I feel like
it's tough, man, but that's the fight game, right? I mean, we see more heartbreak than anything else in this fight game, and that's one of the reasons why we keep tuning it back in, because these are real emotions, these are real human beings. They're fighters, we love to watch them fight, but these are human beings. I mean, they have families. Dustin Poirier has his wife Jolie and his daughter Parker with them this week. It's the first time that she's actually his daughter, 5-year-old daughter, is at a fight week, and she was in the stands today at the press conference. These are real people fighting for a real thing that's more than just a gold belt or ticket sales or pay-per-view revenue. These are people fighting for their careers and their legacies. And Poirier he's been through it all, and now there's really just one thing left for him to do.
Well, I can't wait because, it is a little bit of a reward for hardcore fans because even if you know all the context of it, if you were like a fan of Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier throughout this whole thing, it just means that much more to you because you were there for every step of the way. So I think it is a reward for a lot of the long-term fans of this sport. Okay, so two more quick things to get to before we wrap up here. Sean O'Malley, I just started laughing when he walked out. Like, he's sitting up there by himself at first because he was one of the first guys to be announced. And from just back here, like, his hair looked like a wig, and the bright white sunglasses. I mean, this guy is playing the character up to a T. I mean, what can you say about just his presence up there and then the fight that he has in front of him with Paiva?
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for the Sean O'Malley Cody Garbrandt fight. Oh wait, that's right, they're actually not fighting on Saturday. They did get into a stare down though, an inexplicable
which I enjoyed. I liked it.
I did. I enjoyed the back and forth. It makes me want to see that fight. No offense to Kai Kara France, who's fighting Garbrandt, and Raulian Paiva, who's fighting Sean O'Malley, but kind of wish it was O'Malley versus Garbrandt on Saturday.
It will be someday. We'll see it.
I hope so,
it got booked tonight.
But that was one of the stories of this press conference. Both of those two guys going together, and neither one of them is in a position, Brett, where they can overlook their opponent. Cody Garbrandt can't overlook the weight cut. He's going down to 125 for the first time, and he has to cut weight on Friday morning, just in a few hours from now. And O'Malley, look, I mean, this fight against Raulian is a huge fight for him because it just opens up that door for 2022 where he can really do massive things in this sport as a draw. He's one of the most popular guys in the division. Gets a chance to substantiate that on Saturday.
You have to respect and love what Sean's doing because even if you hate him or you think he's overrated or you think it's all hype, he is building interest in the future. I mean, that's 100%. What guys are supposed to do, and he has backed it up thus far. Has he fought the best? To Cody Garbrandt's point, bringing it up, no, he has not yet, but he is doing all the right things. So you have to, I mean, you just admire it almost.
Yeah.
That, the guy stared down Cody Garbrandt today.
He has the unranked hoodies. Like, he's really leaning into the whole trash talk against
what
him.
he's done in the octagon
Perfect.
should not equal him staring down a former bantamweight champion, but he did it today. So you got to give the guy props. And so last thing, Cody Garbrandt, of course, cutting down to 125.
Yes.
I want to ask your opinion on this because I've seen both sides of it. I have heard and talked to and seen it online. Some people saying that he doesn't look good, that the weight cut looks like it's going rough for him. And other people say, what are you talking about? He looks fine. I am more of the second camp. I think he's looked good. I think his energy has been good. Now, we'll see, what he looks like tomorrow when he steps on the scale. But what is your take on how he looks?
I think he's looked fine. I'm not seeing where people are thinking that he looks terrible, at least not from my perspective. I thought that he had enough energy to get out there and do a stare down with Sean O'Malley. He was going back and forth pretty hard verbally with him. If this was a guy who was really suffering, I don't think he would be doing that. I think he'd probably be trying to lay low and just get through it and try to finish the wake up. But look, Garbrandt has talked about going to 125 for a very long time. Even before Dillashaw did it years ago, Cody was talking about it. He's always been kind of undersized at bantamweight, and I think that Rob Font fight, Rob Font is a gigantic 135er, was bigger than Aldo, who fought at 145 for most of his career. I think after fighting that fight, I think Cody made the decision, and I don't think he looks bad, and I expect him to make the weight fine, but I guess we gotta wait to see how that all turns out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you and I have been covering the sport for a long time. I know when a guy is suffering through a weight cut. Cody Garbrandt is not really giving me those sort of indicators, but we will see because tomorrow is the weigh-in, and we will be there, as will ESPN. We will be there for the weigh-in, for the fights on Saturday, with videos like this to break it all down and talk about what is happening and what will happen and what did happen and all of the good stuff. So thank you for joining us. Tune in tomorrow, tune out the rest of the week, and on Fight Night for Marc Raimondi, I'm Okamoto. We will see you later on.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.